Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Freelance Success Framework podcast series. Hello, Kate.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back, Kate.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's good to see you. I enjoy seeing you. I like working with you.
Oh.
Today, speaking of working, we are going to talk about whether you can expect to make more on staff with a company or whether you can expect to make more as a freelancer, or I should say, you should expect to make more. Again, there are always going to be people who say, oh, freelancers have to work for peanuts. Not the case. Go back and check out all the previous episodes. Not the case. But what should it be? Should you as a freelancer be making more on staff, or should you be making more as a freelancer? Kate, want to take this one?
Much more as a freelancer. Obviously, like otherwise we wouldn't be doing this, right?
Yes. Well, we get the control and we get the freedom.
That's true.
But no, you should be making more as a freelancer. The thing is that companies factor in a lot in our salaries. You know, when we're like, oh, I get these benefits, I get health insurance, I get 401k, I get vacation time, I get all this stuff. Hopefully, I get all this stuff. It's not like you're getting that on top of your salary. You're getting that. Companies offer that so they don't have to pay you more. You know, they offer these shiny things to offset you having a higher salary. So when they're working with freelancers, they don't have to pay for 401k. They don't have to pay for insurance. They don't have to pay. And we'll talk about if all of a sudden you're going, oh my gosh, 401k insurance, what am I going to do? We'll talk about that in just a second. Don't worry. But they don't have to pay that. So they can and should be, and they're not taking out taxes. So they can and should be paying you more as a freelancer. And remember too, that when you are a freelancer, you are figuring out your project rate. Your client is going to agree on it, but you are figuring out how much you want to make. You are figuring out how much time this project is going to take you. So it's up to you to figure out what your rate is and how much you want it to be. And again, in the FSF, we go through how to price out your services, how to come up with that base rate, all of that stuff. But you get to decide how much you make, and companies are willing to pay a premium to work with freelancers because they get the benefit of your flexibility. And that is a big deal for a company. They get your flexibility. And again, they don't have to pay for all of those extra bells and whistles. And for a company, and they don't have the commitment of bringing someone on staff, which is a very big deal for companies.
And they get your expertise too,
yes,
which is huge.
Yes, exactly. So companies are absolutely willing to pay more for freelancers than they would pay for someone on staff, and they should be paying more. And if you are hearing someone who says, no, I'm a freelancer and I made much more when I was on staff, then I can tell you that they're absolutely undercharging. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be dismissive of it, or I don't want to be callous, but that is a decision that they have made to undercharge. And again, it could be lack of information. Maybe they don't know how to put together a project proposal. Maybe they don't know how to price out their services. Again,
or how to track their time that they're actually spending on a project to make sure that they're compensating for all the work that's going into it.
Exactly. It's nobody's born, like we said before, nobody's born learning to freelance. So if there are people who are struggling with that, it's not necessarily their fault, but please don't listen to that and think that that's how it has to be, because it's not how it has to be, and it's not how it should be. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can make your own benefits is where we want to go with this, because all of those bells and whistles that you're like, well, I don't want to give that up. Good news, you don't have to.
Then don't.
Frankly, you can get more vacation time and build more vacation time into your schedule. Honestly, at a lot of the companies I've worked at, I feel like it was like 3, maybe 4 weeks that they would give you max. And as a freelancer, I take a minimum of at least 4 solid weeks off. Plus here and there, maybe a Friday, maybe a Monday. You can flex your schedule a lot more. There are definitely just days where it was, I want to go to lunch with a friend. I'm going to do that. And I come home, I don't want to head back online, and that's okay. Maybe had a glass of wine at lunch, and I'm not very good at working after a glass of wine. So you can build, quite frankly, more vacation time into your schedule.
Well, and when you're making more, you can take more vacation time and still come out ahead. Or you're a freelancer, so you can make your schedule. Or if you're like, you know what, I want to take a ton of time off, whenever we're taking the family to Greece, I want to take those full 2 weeks off and not think about a single thing. All right, then ramp up your freelancing beforehand, so you have a little extra cushioning. You get to choose how much you work and what your rates are. So you're not stuck into, well, I only make this per week and I only make this per month and I don't only make, you get to choose. Someone else isn't deciding, you are deciding. So you want more vacation time? Great, make it happen. If you want more vacation time and you still want to be making a whole bunch of money, then great, figure out how that has to work in terms of your schedule and make it happen.
And no one has to approve your vacation time, which is possibly the best part.
Yes.
There's a certain week off that, like Christmas time, if you celebrate, or in the US, 4th of July is always a week I like to take off, but I know it's a week that a lot of people take off. And so sometimes in an office, you're like competing to make sure that, well, we can't have everyone off this week or whatever it is. You never have to deal with that, which is really, really nice. Or if you want to work that week, great. It might be quieter where around the holidays, everyone is off and you're like, yeah, I want to get a ton of work done. You just have that option.
Yeah, exactly. And then health insurance. I know people are like, well, I can't leave my full-time job because I have health insurance. And yes, don't get us wrong. We do recognize that health insurance is expensive. But it's also expensive if you are working at a company. They're just not paying you that extra amount of money. You're not seeing that. They're paying for your health insurance, but they're paying for your health insurance instead of paying you more. It's not like they're doing you some major favor. They're doing it instead of paying you more. When you are a freelancer, you absolutely can get your own, and this is obviously if you're in the States. I know we have students from all over, so this particular
like, yeah, what is this whole thing?
They're like, we've got universal healthcare. What do we care? But if you can purchase your own health insurance.
And you can shop around, which is nice. Yes. I know in an organization, I've been at several organizations where there was one option. Yeah. And that was it. And there was one, I remember, I wasn't there very long because my healthcare took out like half my paycheck. It was like the Cadillac, as my mom likes to say, of healthcare plans. And it was just so expensive. And it had a lot of stuff that I didn't need. I didn't need, want, whatever. So you can shop around for what actually works for you, which is really nice. Yeah. And the other thing, which I know you were getting at probably, is that it's deductible, which is a huge benefit for freelancers.
Yes, exactly. And we should say we are not tax preparation professionals. This advice is based on our own experience. If you have questions, talk to a tax preparation professional. That said, your healthcare is
costs,
deductible.
Yeah, as a freelancer, you start need to thinking of yourself as both your own employer and the employee. So you fit both roles. Sometimes you're wearing the employer hat and sometimes you're wearing the employee hat. And so when it comes to things like taxes with healthcare, as the employer, you deduct your employee, also you just happen to be both people, taxes. So again, tax preparation professional. But speaking of taxes, I think that's always a big concern with freelancers. Am I going to be paying more in taxes?
No. It will be roughly the same. We hear that a lot. Like, well, I don't want to go freelance because then I have to pay so much in taxes. Here's the thing, friends, you're already paying so much in taxes. It's just taken out before you see your paycheck. If you make $100,000 salary, you're not getting, what is that? Darn it, I should have figured this out. Okay, let's say if you make a $96,000 salary, you're not getting $8,000 in cash every month. You're getting probably like 60% of that because your company is holding back money to pay taxes. You are still paying a ton of taxes, at least, again, if you're in States, no judgment on that at all, but you are paying a ton of taxes. you're still going to be paying a ton of taxes either way. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out a way to get out of that legally. But just when you're on staff, it's taken out before you get your paycheck. Okay, so when you're a freelancer, your client pays you, and you take it out and set it aside, so that when it's tax time, you just go to your tax checking account or your tax savings account and pay it out of there. But you're still paying roughly the same amount of taxes. It's just depends on when you see it.
Different things get taken out too. Yes, you have like a self-employment tax, but then you have so many deductions that you can take as a freelancer that an on-staff employee cannot take. The home office deduction has gone away for people who, even if they work remote, but they're an employee of a company, they can't deduct that anymore. That was as of 2018, I want to say. But now as a freelancer, you can take that. So if you have a dedicated place that you work in your house, which I recommend, that's all deductible, whether from your rent, your mortgage, whatever, which, I guess that's it. Rent or mortgage. I don't know if there's another in between if you're paying under the table to someone. Then
I don't know. If you live in a hotel. Yes.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, you can deduct hotel costs if you're on, traveling for working
business.
With clients or visiting clients or
mileage. Yes, all that stuff. If you use Zoom to talk to your clients, you can, and that's all you use Zoom for, you can deduct that. Or if it's a portion of what you use Zoom for, you can deduct a portion of it. But also too, that you mentioned, and again, this is for the States, but take what you will with it. But the self-employment tax, yes, all right. Well, if you're not self-employed, you don't have to pay that. But we pay self-employment tax because there's no company taking out Social Security tax. The Social Security, it offsets when the company takes out Social Security tax. So it all roughly evens out, except we have the benefit of professional deductions, and there's continuing education is a deduction. There is, like you said, if it's travel for work, there are travel deductions. There are all kinds of things. And this, you definitely want to talk to a tax prep professional, and especially one who is well-versed at working with freelancers, because they're going to give you all kinds of suggestions that we haven't even thought of yet. Always worth spending a little time talking to someone who is an expert when it comes to taxes, because they'll be able to offer all kinds of great ideas.
Yeah. And another thing that applies to this with the self 401k or 401k we mentioned, you can open up a self 401k, and that has huge implications for reducing your taxable income. So again, if you start freelancing, maybe you're not contributing to a retirement account right away. Maybe not. Maybe you do want to start right away. So the nice thing about it is you can contribute as both the employer and the employee. So if there's a year where you do gangbusters as a freelancer, which my 2020, as I mentioned on a previous episode, this is what I did. I contributed the max I could as an employee, which changes year to year. Right now, I think it's $19,500. And then the employer contribution is based on how much you make and after all of your deductions. And so, accountant can help you figure out what that employer contribution can be. And then employer contribution, you have to do it before you file taxes, but you have till you file taxes to do it. So you don't have to do it before end of year is all that's to say. But that can reduce, like, if you're maxing that employer contribution, you can, some employers have matches. You can way more than match your contributions, which is awesome. And I know there are limits, obviously, based on your age and whatnot. But again, huge. So you're socking away cash for your future, and you're also not hurting yourself by paying more in taxes in whatever year that you did really well with your freelance business.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this and going, oh my gosh, my taxes are going to get so complicated. No, they're really not. First of all,
if I can do it, you can do it. It's first and foremost.
And I think it's TurboTax has a not that we're endorsing anything, but I know that TurboTax has a self-employed version. Great. Can help you figure all that stuff out.
And I should probably just pay an accountant is what I should really do.
Gonna say, could spend a couple $100 and really
probably
over the course
pay
of
for
a year.
Itself.
Yes, it will, and it's deductible the next year.
Yep.
When you work with an accountant, or again, you deduct their fees the next year. So if taxes kind of make you go, oh God, then get some help. You're going to be making more. So a couple $100 is going to be like nothing, and it will be deductible next year. All of the stuff that you guys have probably heard the term golden handcuffs. Well, I don't want to leave the company because I've got this great health insurance. So I don't want to leave the company because I've got this. I don't want to leave the company because I've got that. I get that. I absolutely do. But if the only reason you're staying at a company is because you like their health insurance or because you like their 401k match, then maybe I would just gently suggest that maybe you need to figure out what you really, really want out. We spend so much time working, such a large percentage of our time working. And and no, there's not anything we're going to do that every single minute we're going to be like, I love this. That's not reasonable. But if you find yourself spending a lot of time going, oh, I really don't like this, or gosh, I wish it were different, or I wish it were making more, or I wish I could choose when I work or where I work or any of that kind of stuff, I would just really, really encourage you to examine your situation, figure out if you are truly trapped there by these golden handcuffs, or if they're not handcuffs at all, and you have the opportunity to create a career that can be the way that you want it to be, and you still get all of those benefits.
And then some.
And then some, yes. So to recap, are you going to make more on staff, or are you going to make more as a freelancer? You will make more as a freelancer. Yes. And you should be making more as a freelancer. And if you're not, there's a problem in maybe the types of clients you are accepting work for, the types of projects you're accepting work for, or the rates that you are quoting, because you should be making more. And again, all of those benefits, all those wonderful things that we have to stay at companies for. Now, you can give yourself those same benefits, and quite frankly, you can give yourself better benefits. You want the Cadillac health insurance, then great, give yourself the Cadillac health insurance, because you're making more, you can afford it, and then you can deduct it next year. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I hope that maybe inspired you a little bit, got you a little bit excited in terms of what the opportunities are, because we have even more exciting stuff to talk about next. So we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us on this special Freelance Success Framework video series. If you found us through our free on-demand video training, then you already know 3 of the biggest secrets for building a dependable and scalable freelance business, and you are well on your way to success. If you haven't seen our free video training yet, be sure to check it out at freelancesuccesstraining.com. We'll see you there.